YouTube, it's Ashley3G. I'm still on vacation and I've been using the Galaxy S3 for exactly a week now. So I do have some more things to tell you, especially after watching my last video on the Android experience. There are a couple of positives that I left out of that video, either because I hadn't experienced those yet or because I just plain forgot to put them in the video. So I did want to tell you about those because I think that these might influence you to see the Galaxy S3 in a more positive light if you didn't already. So here's that running list, and thanks for watching. Okay, so I have that list for you. I was looking over it, and there are some negatives that I'm going to go over, but the positives far outweigh those negatives, so I just thought I'd give you a heads up on that. The first thing I wanted to talk about actually is negative, but if you go into the telephone app, there is no visual voicemail. So if you have an iPhone 4S or any kind of iPhone, you know what visual voicemail is, and it's just really simple to use. You can see, like if you had 10 voicemails, you can see each one of the phone numbers pop up there, and you can pick which one you want to listen to first, and it's just really cool. On the Galaxy S3, you hit the voicemail button here, and it will call your voicemail, and it's just like a typical voicemail that you would use anywhere else. So the visual voicemail being built in the phone is pretty important to me, and I was a little bit disappointed when I had to do like old school voicemail. So there you go. The alarm clock is awesome on this thing. I use my alarm clock on my iPhone every day, and one of the first things I set up on this new phone was the alarm clock. And they have what's called a smart alarm, so I'll go ahead and show you that. The smart alarm, it might actually be in the clock. So we'll go over here. So the smart alarm is really cool. We'll go into the clock app. And if you go into, actually let's just go ahead and go into an alarm that I already have here for work. So you have all these different options, fully customizable, and you can scroll down and see where it says smart alarm. So that's checked on because I really like it. Well, here's what it does. You set your alarm, and it will start a couple of minutes before your actual alarm time is supposed to be, and it'll start like a really low tone, and it will gradually build up to wake you up, and it really is a nice pleasant little alarm. Let's see if I can show you what it sounds like. So it's called Walk in the Rainforest. It's just really nice to wake up to, and I love that it starts out gradually and even wakes me up a couple of minutes before the alarm's supposed to go off. That makes a major difference in when I get up in the morning. Really do appreciate that. So, very cool alarm system on this little Samsung Galaxy S3. The feedback when touching the phone is really cool too, even from the lock screen. When you go to unlock, you get that nice water noise. So just like that. It's just a pleasant experience. And then as you touch things and type things, you get some feedback in the form of a very slight vibration. And it just helps to know that you've clicked the right thing or the right letter. It's just a great feedback system in general. I have played with other phones that have Android on them very briefly, and so I knew that it was going to do that, but I think that it delivers very well through the Samsung Galaxy S3. It's just touched up and perfected, I would say. So very nice touch there. Also, this isn't really something that is a spec per se, but the cool factor of this phone is different than I've seen in a while, because when the iPhone first came out, it was cool to walk around with that. And it had sort of like a wow factor because not everyone had it, and it was a little bit on the more expensive side, and it just did so many different things than most smartphones and cell phones did back then. And I really haven't felt like, oh, look at the phone that I have, until getting the Samsung Galaxy S3, because now, as you know, everyone has an iPhone, and that's no longer the wow, look at your phone. I think that this one has kind of given me that feeling like I'm doing something different, even though this is a very popular phone right now and a lot of people are actually going out and getting them. It's still very new, and so walking around with the Samsung Galaxy S3 kind of brings that old feeling back, and it has been missed. So just wanted to bring that up. Another thing that I've actually heard a lot of reviewers complaining about with this phone is that it's so dim in the direct sunlight and in bright sunlight. And I'd have to say that that is true. It's not something that you couldn't work around, and you can still see it, but it's definitely not as good as other phones that I've tried. Definitely not better than the iPhone in direct sunlight. So they were not wrong on that point. And going along the same line, the picture quality, the phone is supposed to have a pretty stellar camera, and for the most part it does if you have the right lighting conditions, but I will say it's hit and miss, and it's kind of hard to tell how your pictures are going to turn out on this phone. They're not horrible by any means, but I have seen better, and I would say the iPhone is more consistent in that category. I'll go ahead and click on gallery here. This is a picture I took out by the beach today, and if they look blue, I know there's a blue background here in the video, but they just turn out kind of darker for some reason. I know me and my mom were outside taking pictures. She was using her iPhone and I was using my Galaxy, and I was a little bit jealous of her pictures, and they were the same ones, you know, we were taking them in the same general area, so hers just turned out brighter, more crisp, more detail, and these are more dark for some reason. I do have some pictures such as this one. This one turned out really nice. All the colors look pretty appropriate, and you can see all the details. So it just, like I said, is hit or miss. Here's a good one, here's a not so good one. It just kind of depends. So that's kind of middle of the road, and definitely not the best on the market, in my opinion. I do also like that emoticons are built into the keyboard when you're texting. I think that's really cool, and something that the iPhone doesn't offer right out of the box, and something that I've used more. I mean, there are like little smiley faces that I use all the time, little hearts and stuff like that, and that's a minor thing, but to some people who use emoticons a whole lot, it just makes it super convenient. You don't have to go buying an app or figuring out how to put your emoticons in or hand typing them, which isn't so hard anyway, but I do appreciate that they include that right out of the box. And then my little S-Voice demo in the other video was okay. Like I said, the first time I used S-Voice, it worked very well. I just used it to place a phone call, and it did that for me. And then a couple of other times it did not understand what I was saying, even stuff that Siri would understand, so I was a little disappointed. But I totally forgot to tell you that S-Voice can open apps. So I'll go ahead and show you that. Open Instagram. And there is Instagram. So that is very cool that it can open apps. And I know the next version of iPhone can do that. So that's up and coming. But that's something that Samsung Galaxy S3 and the Android operating system kind of beats out Apple with. So I do like that, because I have been wanting Siri to do that since day one of her use. I was really disappointed that she could not open Twitter for me. But now, no worries anymore, because S-Voice has you covered. The last thing that I wanted to say in this video was the durability of this phone. I still don't have a case. I was thinking about getting maybe like a screen protector for it, but I did want to use it as is. It's just a pretty beautiful phone, actually, and very lightweight. I just wanted to carry it around like it was. The screen is all, you know, like so big, and adding a case would make it even bigger. I have very small pockets and just can't see like bulking this phone up anymore. Although, like I said, it's very slim, sleek device, not heavy. Just don't want to add anything else to it. So, with that being said, no scratches so far, knock on wood. No scuffs on the back. Doesn't really pick up a whole lot of fingerprints. You can see some in the video here, but really, it always looks pretty good. So, no complaints there, and seems to be a fairly sturdy phone. Another one, just now thought of it. So when you're in the lock screen, you can customize these icons down here that kind of stay down there. And so I have my phone, my messages, my email, and picture taking. That's what I do the most. But you can customize that, like I said, to any of the 4 apps that you would like. And so say we want to go into a camera. All we do, instead of unlocking like this with a swipe, is swipe up from the icon that we want to use. So touch the camera, swipe it up, and it will open your camera for you. And you can start taking pictures just like that. I do appreciate that. Same thing with email and like I said, anything you want to make a quick phone call, swipe up, and it's got you covered there. Very quick. Something I wish Apple had thought of. They didn't. They didn't do it first, and so that's really cool. I don't like copycats, and I see a lot of copycatting going on with cell phones. So anytime something's new, I do appreciate it, and that was really cool. So I hope you enjoyed this kind of updated video about the Samsung Galaxy S3 and Android. I'm enjoying it more than I was in my last video, and I really wanted you to know that, and wanted you to know some of the more positive features of the phone. This has been Ashley 3G. Thanks for watching, and keep watching.